earned.
Exactly. My Lords, in following the Noble Lady Baroness O'Grady, I have to agree with her about social care jobs, and indeed all jobs should pay a real living wage, should be a foundation of our social contract. But I thank the Noble Lady Baroness Andrews and her committee for this report, which shows great compassion and sense, and we can only hope that the government will follow its lead, as indeed does the Archbishop's Commission report. There's little that I would disagree with in either of them in their intentions, but aiming as Greens as we do to always go further, I want to particularly acknowledge the interrelationship of other policy areas and the nature of our society, rather than looking at social care simply as a standalone unit, or even simply looking to join it up with healthcare. This is really systems thinking. But first, a personal reflection. The Noble Lady Baroness Barker referred to the 1 million people who don't have children. This is personal to me, since I'm one of the 18% of women of my age, and most ages now born since the 1950s, who don't have children. I have no brothers and sisters, no living relatives at all. That reflects the position of increasing numbers of our society, something that we are entirely unready for. Civil society is generating solutions. I note particularly the older women co-housing project in North London. The government doesn't need to direct these, but it must do far more to enable them to happen. For we have now a society that does not care for the vulnerable, which means, of course, that any of us could be left in that situation at any time. That's why Green Party policy is free social care to all who need it. Provision of free social care is a key part, it has to be a key part, of any Green New Deal, central to that concept. When you hear that phrase, you might think hard hats and solar panels, but actually equally think of a person caring for someone and meeting their needs, someone holding another's hand when they need it. Now, that would be central to what the Right Reverend Primate referred to as a fulfilled life that we should be offering everyone. And care needs to be provided, as the Noble Lady Baroness Andrews said, in a way that is, quote, not transactional, not contractual. And that is our vision, which is why the Green Party says that the profit motive has no place in any form of care provision, health or social. The terrible state of our care system owes a great deal to privatisation, which has taken public and individuals' money and put it into the hands, often, of hedge funds and other tax dodgers, while exploiting our workers and providing terrible care. A study just this week from The Guardian showed that the 5 largest private care chains are taking £150 million a year in taxpayers' money for places in the elderly care homes rated as inadequate or requiring improvement, including some classed as not safe. The leading earner from public funds is HC1, a chain of 285 care homes, majority owned by a US private equity company. It was paid £50 million, The Guardian calculated, by town halls in 2022 for homes that were at the 2 lowest CQC categories. Now, many noble lords have referred to unpaid carers. Another Green promise is universal basic income, a foundational secure payment to every member of our society. If we chose to be a carer, we'd top that up. This is a system in which everyone would have the security to care without fear of poverty. Now, that's truly system change. Now, as the Noble Lady Baroness Barker alluded to, we are at that point in the electoral cycle where parties are drawing up their manifestos. I'm not expecting other parties to adopt wholesale the Green vision, although I'd be happy if they did. But I will offer a couple of smaller scale policies that I'd be very happy if any party wants to steal. First of all, I was speaking earlier today about the concessionary bus travel scheme. How about we extend all public transport free to carers, to family carers, a modest acknowledgement of the contributions they make to our society. Secondly, young carers, far too often ignored, often starting at terribly young ages with huge responsibilities. Apply the pupil premium to them to help their schools to support them. And housing, we're talking this week in the Levelling Up Bill about the need for vastly better housing, both new build and refit. Every new home should be built to Lifetime Homes design standards. That would mean people can stay in their own homes longer. Now, a final thought on technology. There's no doubt that it can help a lot, particularly in medical care, to provide security and reassurance, notification for when help is needed. But please, let's not assume that a robot, no matter how snazzy, can actually provide human care. The comfort of a human touch, the thoughtful listening to a cry of pain. If you're tempted by the technological care vision, I'd point you to an Isaac Asimov novel, The Naked Sun. There's a great deal of robot so-called care in that, and I promise you it's a dystopia.